We have to take PQRS symptoms. I'm repeating these things. Every time we have to take the constitution of the animal. Animals exhibit their constitution very, very wisely because they act always naturally. They doesn't hide anything. So we have to observe only. That is why homeopathy is working very well in these animals, because they are giving you symptoms very, very naturally. Whatever they are showing their symptoms. So we find the symptoms, we have to observe the symptoms, and we will get results. Every time we have to take the peculiar, rare, uncommon symptoms. Then arsenic alum is there. We have used in so many cases. Then this baptisia, this gives also very good results whenever there is a problem with this total blood poisoning, you can say like there. So we use baptisia, and all type of animals we are getting very, very good results from baptisia. Belladonna, this is again a very good medicine we use in first symptoms. Calendula is a major medicine which we used in external application as well in internal applications. Echinacea, then Eucalyptus globulus, again a very, very good medicine being used in veterinary homeopathy. Gunpowder, one of the best medicines we are using in wound healing in veterinary sciences. So this medicine is giving very, very good results. Even in lumpy skin disease, we have cured so many cases with gunpowder only. Hipposulf, again, very, very good medicine, continuously being used in hypogenium. Yes, this is a very, very good medicine. This is a medicine which acts on the deep abscesses. Whenever the deep abscess in the body, any living organism, whether it is a human being or whether it is a small sparrow to parrots or it is elephant, I have used this hypogenium medicine in all type of, whenever there is a problem of deep abscesses. We have got so many cases when we do postmortems of animals, we find abscesses of lungs. Then after that, I have cured so many cases of abscesses of lungs with only hypogenium. This is my practical experience. So again, histamine, Kaliars is again a very good medicine we are using in this lumpy skin disease. Melandrium, again a intercurrent remedy we are using as a nosode, and this also gives very good results in Marcinella, again, one good medicine. Mercurius group is also giving good results. So natrum carb, again we have used this medicine also. Petroleum. Then pyrogenium, yes. About pyrogenium, we say whenever there is a problem in animals, in a group, when we treat a group of animals, we always use a combination of three medicines, that is arsenic alb, second is berkthol, and third is pyrogenium. And every time we are getting very, very good results, but only when we are using this combination only, when we are treating in a group. Otherwise, every time we have to take the case. Every time we case separately. So this is Rustox, again giving good results in lumpy skin disease. Rus veneta is also we have to use. Scrofloria nodosa. This is again a very good nosode and intercurrent medicine. We have to use this again and again in this lumpy skin disease. Sulfur iodide we have used. Tarantula, cobasis we have used. Thusa we have given the preventive as a preventive medicine, and we have got very, very good results from the Thusa as preventive medicine, as you have given. Artica jurens, again very good medicines for any whenever there is accumulation of water in the body. So this Artica jurens work very well. Apis is also there. But in animals, this Artica jurens works very well. Vanadium, we also use this medicine. Verolinum is a major medicine. Whenever there is vesicles on the teats of all the cows, so we use this medicine. The excellent results. Cowpox, This is cowpox. Excellent results with only Viralidone. Best medicine, we have this Viscum album we have also used. Thank you, dear friends. So this is a good photograph of our IVH group, that is International Association of Veterinary Homeopathy. We are so many people in this group. Thank you, dears. Thanks so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Surjit, for your most informative and brief note on the lumpy skin disease and its remedies. Now I would like to call upon Dr. Vrushali Saraswat, who's the renowned homeopath from India. She's extremely experienced in her field and has handled many critical cases. Please, ma'am, come on stage and take over the mic. माइक मिलेगा? अच्छा यहाँ लगाइए। नहीं ऑन नहीं है।
Good morning.
Hello.
Yeah. Good morning. How are you all today? Good? Yeah? Bale bale? Badhiya. So, before I start my presentation, I want to ask you, do you know anybody in maybe your family or friends who is finding it difficult to keep at one job? You know, who's struggling to maintain, he keeps jumping from one job to the other, to the other, to the other. Everyone? Doing what?
Doing same
Same.
thing you are asking, everyone is going to do.
No, not everyone.
Jumping.
No, what I'm asking is, you know, this person cannot sustain job. Jumping from one to the other, and you wonder, what is wrong with this guy? Why can't, you know, he sustain? Why can't he do simple things? And there is no explanation to that. We all know some or the other person like that, right? Do you have anybody, maybe in your friends or family, who cannot sit for one full meal at one place? You know? There are people like that. And what do you call them? Lack of patience, lack of focus, and you wonder that, you know, one conversation. Why can't we have one complete conversation, meaningful conversation? That person can be jumping from ideas to ideas, and you want them to come back to the same topic, but they can't maintain. And you feel, you know, you feel deceived, you feel cheated in that relationship. Nobody's listening to me. This person is not giving me attention. So what if I tell you that it is not that person's emotional state, it is his disease? A lot of adults today are experiencing a condition called as ADHD. How many of us have identified ADHD in our clinic? Most of us are practicing homeopaths, right? ADHD. You know what ADHD is? Hanji? I wish it was as easy as antidiuretic hormone, but yeah, good try. It is attention deficit hyperactive disorder. And invariably, we feel it is a disorder exclusively for children, right? We feel hyperactivity is only there with children. But my friends, this is one condition which starts in the childhood and does not end in the childhood. It does not. Like the person grows with the condition and sustains it. It is something which, with age, you must gain maturity. You see a lot of children doing hyperactivity, jumping, doing things. And you say, "Bachcha hai, he's just a kid. He will grow up, he will understand." But people with this condition do not understand because there is something difficult or something going on in their brain which, kind of stops them from growing up. Would you like to listen to some cases like that? Yes? Only one yes I'm getting. Yeah, that's nice, When the audience is alive, there is fun in speaking. Otherwise, there is just no fun. Wow. All right, so let's just go to the age. Invariably, we feel that when we are having difficulty in our life, we should go to our seniors and take guidance. They will make sense to our difficulties, right? So I'm presenting a case of 73-year-old lady. She came to me with hypertension and asthma. So there are so many symptoms. The whole family is accompanying, daughter-in-law, son, daughter, and this lady. They're telling me all these symptoms, so I just make a note of it. So I'm going to just walk you through how I work in my clinic. Is that okay? Yeah? All right. So she had hypertension since 20 years. She had asthma for the last 40 years. And she was jumping from this treatment to that treatment and nothing was working. She would take pump, she was taking inhaler, she was taking daily medication, lot of symptoms there. And almost 8 to 9 asthma attacks every month she was having. And that's why finally the family said, let us just go to a homeopath who can help us. So I take all these symptoms. Then, what was most prominent was the way this lady was behaving in my clinic. So what happened is, I was taking all these symptoms. So she was medium built, average height, and perspiration scanty, sleep disturbed. Prominently, the family said, when the sleep is disturbed, she roams in the front yard. She doesn't stay in one place, but she will keep roaming all throughout the night. And very interestingly, I'm just directly taking you to the rubrics, but I'll tell you the whole story where it just hit me that there is something different, something amiss in this lady, that while she is speaking about her complaints and the family is discussing, she's sitting very unladylike manner. She sat on the chair or on the sofa, and suddenly she picks up her entire sari and then she picks she folds her leg and she sits there like that. It is quite unusual. She comes from a very good family. So generally people do not do things like that. So that was very, very prominent. Then I started asking her questions about her personality, and the daughter says that my mother has a very bad habit of swearing. She comes from an affluent, good family. She abuses, she uses words which we will not even think about, and casually, without meaning it. There is nothing that she's angry and then she's using bad words, but no, very, very casually. So that's the first thing which hit me. She's abusive, she's insulting towards her husband. Her husband is some 10 years older than those. She was 73, he was 82, 83. So especially towards husband, she's very, very insulting. Cursing, swear, desire to, mischievous, and this was very prominent, naked wants to be. She does not want to follow the decency norms. More than that, what was important was when the daughter is telling me all these things, that this is how my mother behaves, she did not want to defend, or she did not want to say anything about it. So that was more deeper meaning to this rubric. That's where the rubric came. It did not come from her lifting the sari, but she was bindas. She did not care about what the daughter is saying. So that's where the rubric naked wants to be. So she's plain, and as she is in front of you. Yeah. And dresses indecently. So if you see, as I'm selecting all the rubrics, the number of remedies are going down. So, I'm getting closer to the remedy. So I put it in the repertory, and the chart shows some remedies. So I said, okay, let me go further. What can we see further? So there are so many other rubrics, right? Like hyperactivity, mind, amorous disposition. So how she will be the one in weddings or in the family get-togethers. At night, she'll collect all the ladies and she'll talk nonsense, utter nonsense. And she will not even bother whether young children are sitting there or not. She will be like double meaning jokes, and sometimes they are not even double meaning straight. She will be talking about sexual things, about some songs, about whatever, So there is just no sense to her talks. Then she also has anger. She's quite irritable. She will feel angry. She'll say bad things, and then she will repent also immediately. And in anger, she has an ability to talk incoherently. Like she will not, you cannot understand what she's saying. There's so much which will come out of her that the speech will be incoherent. The words will not be there. And you see, there is only one remedy in that rubric. So I just thought that was quite prominent. Whenever I find a rubric which has single remedy, as Sunirmal Sarkar sir has taught me this, that they are the most important rubrics, right, sir? Yeah. And you cannot ignore them. Then she had avarice. At the same time, generosity towards strangers and avarice as regards with his family. That was very interesting that she wanted more money always. So now they are retired for last 20 years. There was not much money which the husband was bringing or whatever, and they're well-to-do family. But she wanted to, she would always say that her children have to give her money. She has to get gold. She has to collect things. And she would not share it with her daughter-in-law or the near family. Her husband to last. She will not give him money. With her near and dear, she had avarice. Like she wanted to hold things. But at the same time, there was a different shade of her wherein she would go out of the way to help her maid. She will go out of the way to help the watchman of the building. She will invite them and she will make sure that the nice meal is cooked and they are served very nicely. So this was a very strange combination I found, that she will go maids, neighbors, daughter's wedding, she will give a gift. So very strange. But a combination of that rubric exists. So then there were other rubrics like company desire for alone aggravation being. So if the family is traveling and she is alone at home, she will make sure that the entire neighborhood knows she is alone. So one by one, she will give time to people. Ki, come and meet me, I have something for you. So she'll make her presence felt. Yeah, and people, the funny part is, however annoying she is, she will still get company. She will make sure she has that ability to hold attention of people. Wherein, she can be entertaining, she can be utterly silly, but very entertaining. So people would want to come and stay around her. Then there were some general rubrics like compulsive. She had to work. Continuously, she had to work in the house. Like, even though she was 73, she had not given up her kitchen. The daughter-in-law would say that, how much ever I tell her, you don't need to work. but she will come and work. Continuously, there was a need for her to cook good meals, cook some snacks, do something, or either clean the cupboard or something. So, it was like a compulsion that she had to work. So again, what you see is the same set of remedies which are coming up. Yeah? Then what happens is, I go further, and there are so many other rubrics, so many things. Because it's a 73-year-old lady, she is also, she has kind of a vocal diarrhea. She goes on saying things, her daughter says so many. So I get a lot of more rubrics, and they're all very useful for me. What she talks about is mostly the bad incidences which has happened in the family. Like her husband was deceived by his own real brother, and they had suffered some business loss that she has not forgotten. So the past is something where she wants to stay, and she will keep on talking about it. So if the husband and they are alone, she will just go on saying how you committed mistake and how that is what is causing us all this trouble. So full time she has delusions, imaginations, past of events of long past. She would stay in that. Then about that same incidents, she also felt that that is where her life has changed or it has gone bad. So therefore I've taken delusion, imagination, persecuted that she is. She felt persecuted by that particular event wherein there was a loss and she had to suffer a little. So that was around the time when her asthma started, so 40 years ago. But she still holds that, and that was the ailment factor, or that was the causation of her asthma. Then, something which was prominent was the horrible things, sad stories affect her profoundly. So very interestingly, she herself had voluntarily told me this, that there is a movie in Marathi, very old movie, Maherchi Sadi. So meaning, so in Maharashtra, when a lady passes away, the last sari, the last cloth which is put on her before the procession begins, has to come from her maternal place. So that's the whole story of the movie. And in that movie, that lady doesn't get it or something like that. That movie is this lady's favorite movie. She watches that and she cries buckets full of tears. She full time, she will watch it. She will make sure that she watches that movie. And it's a sad movie. Why do you want to, if it affects you, you leave it. But no, she has to watch that movie over and over, again and again, and every single time it has the same impact on her. So that's where I've taken horrible things, sad stories affect profoundly. What was important in this also was her daughter-in-law's input. She said, after my wedding in the Bidai, more than my mother-in-law was crying. Because she was feeling it is so sad, the daughter has to leave her house. So she said, everybody was shocked, why? The daughter-in-law is not crying so much, daughter-in-law's mother is not crying, but she is crying. So that's how her emotional frequency or the vibration level is like that. Then, disappointment, deception, ailments from holding or being held desire for amelioration. So this rubric I had taken from her habit of collecting people around her. She wanted to be held all the time like a child. Otherwise, you cannot pacify her. She had to be surrounded by people, and people have to listen to her. So that was her compulsion or her need for being held. And anticipation ailments from, it was very common. Obviously, such a hyper lady could not wait for anything. So whenever she's asked to wait, or she's asked to delay some kind of her activities, she will get aggravated only. Yeah, again. So, I was, so far, any remedies? Yeah? ऐसा मिस तो दिख रहा है. Any other thought which comes to you? No? So I'll tell you a little about myself at this stage. What I do, I've been practicing for the last 23 years, and having based in Mumbai, we are blessed to have the best of all the systems. Everybody is there, like HHF is there, Shankaran sir is there, Sunirmal Sarkar graces, graces us sometimes in Mumbai. So, having learned from so many masters over so many years, I have come to one niche practice for myself. And this case which I'm sharing here is a part of my dissertation, which I submitted for my PG Homeopathy London, wherein I received a gold medal for this entire dissertation. And I've worked quite hard on ADHD. As a whole, totally, there are more than 200 cases. Most of them are adult, which was quite surprising even for me. I used to feel that these are all children cases, but when I put things into Excel sheet and when we worked out the numbers, what we found was majority of them were adults. All the cases which I have identified. So, mind being my favorite topic, every case which I approach is through mind. We do look at physical generals and the physical particulars, no doubt, diagnosis and everything we follow very properly. But what is my favorite thing is to understand the psychodynamics and understand the origin, root cause of the illness and pick up from there and then try and resolve the whole case. So, okay, more symptoms. So there were so many other, I think most of them I have said. She also had loquacity, gestures, foolish behavior. So foolish behavior, I'm sure all of you must have understood by now. Okay? So again, remedy was not something which was important. Another favorite topic of mine is dreams. So I've given a lot of webinars on dreams, and this is one sector alone with which you can solve any case, any possible case. So I have so many cases wherein if I did not have time on that particular day, I simply ask them their dreams and I prescribe and they work wonders. So they have beautiful results. So this lady had amorous dreams, and mind you, it was not a very nice experience taking this case because she went on describing all her amorous dreams. It was very yucky for me actually. Dreams, busy being. So she would say, "Kaam ka dreams aata hai." Whatever she's working throughout the day, she dreams of. Continued dreams. So if her dream is broken, like her sleep is broken because she doesn't have a very good sleep, when she goes back to sleep, her dream continues. So dreams continued. Then dreams of fire, pleasant dreams. She dreams of marriages, travel, and overall pleasant and very vivid dreams. So when I put that, again, there are so many remedies, but there is only one remedy or two remedies which are covering all the dreams. Anxiety symptoms, it's an asthma case. Are you guys tired with the symptoms by now? Because I am tired with so many symptoms. So there were so many anxiety-related symptoms. Again, we have the repertorization, so many other symptoms. So it was just a case with lots and lots of data. Yeah? Okay, we're still on. So what was important in this case, which struck me, was her inattentiveness, which is the hallmark of ADHD, her impulsivity and her hyperactivity. All these three are the hallmarks of ADHD, wherein the person acts out of impulsion. It is not that they're doing it on purpose, but they're just incapable of thinking beyond. Why, I will tell you in a little while. So there are, the causes of ADHD are biological causes, psychosocial factors, and then eventually clinical expressions. Now, I have written child's environment. So any adult ADHD case which you take, you must look at the childhood also. Because, you know, as I told you, the condition actually starts in the childhood. So that's where the problem identification is at that level. Then, so there are learning disabilities. So a lot of adults, you will not be able to identify that they had learning disabilities, right? How would you know? So how would you know is, you can check whether this person has completed his education in time. Like, you know, engineering takes 4 years, but this person completed it in 10 years. Something like that. So there will be a clue. Something when you give them, say some new task you give them. Mobile phones, for example. Lot of people pick up, like, even our maids and people who have not gone to school can use mobile phones, right? But somebody who is doing other things all right, but something new comes on the mobile phone, and then he says, no, I can't take this. That's a learning disability. That is sheer inability. It's not that person's inertia, but it is his inability to learn new things. Okay, so that's how you have to figure it out in adults. How can you identify learning disabilities? So what happens with them is, because they have learning disabilities, they have, they cannot adapt, or they cannot understand what is going on in their surrounding. And that's where they lose attention. Because if the topic is too complex, not understandable, what do? You start looking out of the window? What else would you do? I mean, that's where their attention deficit starts. And when that happens over and over and over and over again and again, then it becomes a habit, and they develop a complete inability to focus. So, neurologically, they have visual or auditory stimuli which are not comprehended completely. So whatever visual stimuli and auditory stimuli, they have to coincide. What we are seeing and what we are hearing, that has to find a coherence inside your brain. But when that doesn't happen, they do not understand what is being told. So when a child is taught to write A in a certain pattern, that's a visual stimulus. And A, they have to listen. So when that two do not match, they don't get it. That's where their learning disability begins, and then there is inadequate organization in the brain. So the data is not organized properly. Small data. This is not very complex data, like, tying the shoelace. They may not understand. So that kind of data is not organized, and that gives rise to inability to coordinate his motor or behavioral activities according to the stimuli. Am I clear so far? Yeah? So this is, I'm telling you how the concept of ADHD emerges, and right from childhood. So interesting thing was, persistent adult ADHD with a childhood onset is 2.5% of adults are having that. That's a huge number. It's a huge number. You might think that 2.5% is nothing, but if you put it into perspective, it's like a lot of people around us having that. Out of that, symptomatic adult ADHD, and it is regardless of childhood onset. How, I'll tell you. Because if your mother is very efficient, If your teacher is very efficient, very patient, they will stay with you unless and until you understand, right? But there comes a time when even parents or the teachers will stop teaching you ABCD. You have to learn the spellings then, right? You're getting my point? So when that kind of small explanation stops in your life, their learning disability emerges. And therefore, they might be a normal or, an average performing child, not very hyperactive, because he's been taught well, but eventually they will be diagnosed as symptomatic adult ADHDs. So if you translate all these statistics, it is 506 million affected adults globally by 2020. And this is not my number, this is coming from world statistics. So if we understand a little bit about lack of neurosensory and motor coordination, so typically what difficulties the children can experience, they will have discrimination in right and left. How many of us, while driving, miss the turn because we were supposed to take right? See, we were supposed to take right and we took left. I have. Yeah? So, discrimination in right and left. Tie the shoelace. Confuses in letters B, D, P, and Q. Very simple things, right? Huh? Maybe as a child, lot of people, but then that's the whole point, yeah. Maybe as a child, you miss all of that, but as you grow up, you learn to coordinate in your brain and the coherence comes. But that is missing in them. They cannot adapt. That's where they land into ADHD. So play with required sensory and motor coordination. So typically, if the child is refusing to play badminton, tennis, games which require a motor coordination, then you can say that they are having difficulty. Drawing figures. So their mountains will be of their own shape. They will maybe call a circular thing a mountain. They have difficulty imitating actions. So typically, children who are failing in the dance class, it's not necessary that, just 2 minutes more. Learning to read and write. So these are all difficulties. Sequential organization and short-term memory. So, drawing figures, it requires a sequence. So they cannot follow after 1, 2, 3, 4, sequentially they cannot go, okay? So common behavior rating scales. Now that we have spoken so much about what are the difficulties, you cannot leave it to our judgment. So there are so many rating scales. One of my favorite is adult ASRS, the Adult ADHD Self-Report Scale. It's very simple, very easy, and very, very effective. Then there are so many other skills. We'll talk about it sometime later. So there are, you can figure it out. So many of the symptoms I've already shared in my case. They are classical symptoms of ADHD. They are coming out of inattention, symptoms which are out of hyperactivity. So this particular case, this is how the ASRS looks. And this has been filled by the patient herself. So in her case, we made the family also sit because she's 73. I didn't want to put her through that. But they had not come to me for ADHD. But I just went ahead and did this diagnosis for them. So before treatment and after treatment, you can see a lot of difference there. So remedy was not a big hassle here, right? Most of us had come to a hyoscyamus because of her such behavior. Keynote behavior, yes. So hyoscyamus was given to her, BD for 2 days, and repeated weekly. I'd given her 1M because it was such a high intensity case. And the follow-up treatment, counseling of the whole family continued for 3 years. And the best part, the icing on the cake was when daughter-in-law said that now she listens. She just doesn't speak, she listens. That I felt was pretty good. Yeah. So these are common issues when patients of these things come to you. Do consider ADHD, like confusion, jumping from jobs, addicted to smoking, tobacco, family aversion, feeling of being cheated, want of love, inattention, anxiety, melancholia, any of these, when they come to you, do think of ADHD. Yeah, that's about it. I think I cut down my thank you slide also. So thank you so much, and thank you, Dr. Sukul, for organizing such a good thing and giving me an opportunity to present in front of my teachers. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vrishali, for disseminating information about one of the most abundant topics, adult ADHD. Now I request Dr. J.P. Jarin, from the Sri Sai Ram Homeopathy Medical College and Research Center in Chennai, India. Sir, please come up on stage and take over the mic. And it would be highly appreciable if you stick to the 15 minutes allotted for you. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, one and all present here. I thank Dr. Sukul for giving me this opportunity, and I consider this as a great privilege in standing before greatest stalwarts present here. I'm also grateful and a little bit nervous because I'm presenting before my principal, Dr. P.K. Sudhir, and my mentor, Dr. Vijayanand sir. Okay, let's go to the topic. I here want to focus on the right dosage for a holistic health. My topic is atopic dermatitis with allergic contact dermatitis and secondary infection treated with Sorinum, which is my case report. This is a case of a 35-year-old female who came to me on the 7th of August 2018. She presented with history of itching, which was aggravated at night, and she had dryness of itching with cracking, crusting, and scaling, which was aggravated by scratching. And she had a clear discharge of sticky fluid on scratching and dorsal part of the right foot with a family history of atopy, which her brother had. Now, most of you would have guessed the diagnosis. Diagnosis was based on the diagnostic criteria, and it was atopic dermatitis. And this is a picture initially taken. And I hope you would have guessed the remedy. Yeah, it is Graphitis 200, which was prescribed. So I gave her 3 pills to be taken, 30 size globule daily for 15 days before foot OD. And on 25/8/2018, her itching reduced, her dryness improved, scaling and crusting got reduced. She developed mild swelling of the feet. Okay, so this is the difference between the first and the second sitting. There was mild improvement seen here. The scaling got reduced in these areas, and her itching also got improved, but there was mild itching. So graphitis was repeated for another 15 days. But we all know what our patients do. Her itching increased on 31/8, and her dryness also increased. Her scaling and crusting also increased, you can see in the picture. And her swelling also increased, and it was since 4 days. So on knowing the cause, I came to know that she had consumed dried fish. Okay, she consumed dried fish curry, and which had aggravated her complaint. And so I had asked her to continue graphitis. And on 3/9, as you can see, her itching was persisting and her complaints were aggravating. So I had asked her to continue her graphitis again. And on 5/9, it still, her symptoms reduced, but her new pustular eruptions started coming on. And this is also one of our obstacle that we see in our patients, because the patient has gone in for some native treatment of her, and she had applied turmeric along with Acalypha indica. We call that plant as Kuppameni in Tamil, which is found on the streets everywhere. So she has applied that plant along with turmeric, which had aggravated her complaint. She came with kind of pustular eruptions. Okay, so I had her conditions worse, and you can see it on the there was pustular discharge. There was literally pus oozing out, pus coming out from the discharge. So I increased the potency from graphitis 200 to graphitis 1M, because eruptions, pustular also covered graphitis. So that was done, and local dressing was done, and I waited for a couple of days, and there was no improvement even after 1M. Even after the local application of echinacea. The reason I gave echinacea, because echinacea was better on external use when there is pustular tendency. So the case was retaken. So this was her picture. There was despair of recovery. That was prominent in her. There was anxiety, there was fear, there was appetite increased after this, and eruptions, pustula, itching at night. So Soranum was indicated, and I have given Soranum 1M for 2 days, and along with a local dressing. So there was improvement on this, the next day, on 10/9, you can see after dressing. But after 2 days, even after dressing, you can see the eruptions, there was scaling and a little bit of aggravation of the symptoms. Once Soranum was stopped. So Soranum was repeated. So I just want to focus on this slide for a moment. We take so much of effort, so much of importance in selecting a remedy. We stick on to the principle. We give importance to the principle. We take efforts in repertorization. We take efforts in selecting the similimum in the similar remedy. But many a time we don't focus on the dosage. Dosage, I mean the potency, the number of doses we prescribe, the quantity as well as the repetition. So as Stalwarts has said, the proper dose, Hyman has said the proper dose is always the least possible dose which affects a cure. We always get misguided by this word least possible. When we talk about least possible, we think it is the lower doses always, lower potency always. So we also fear to repeat it. Dr. Hyman has said to repeat the dose when improvement ceases. So on the basis of that, I'm quickly moving on what I did through the next 25 days. So Soranum 1M in water dose, I gave twice a day, after which I saw that she was needing of it frequently. So then I increased it to 3 hourly dose in water. Later which I also increased to 2 hourly ones, along with the local dressing daily done. So these are the series of photos taken on day basis. There are even other photos, but I have just collected the important ones. So I could see a lot of changes little by little. So the scaling was getting reduced, and little by little you can see the eruption getting a little bit dried up. Okay, so and on the 8th of October 2018, you can see this last slide. The eruptions were completely better. I reviewed it after 2 years. This was a picture when she came to me for another complaint of simple gastritis. And this is after 4 years. Completely recovered, and there is no relapse also after 4 years. So I just want to conclude with these things said by our master. It is wisdom, courage, and patience that will always lead to the road of recovery. Thank you for your patience listening, And thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, Doctor. We appreciate your professionalism. Now, may I call upon Dr. M. Jahangir Hussain, who is the ex-principal of Swarup Kati Homeopathic Medical College and Hospital, Nizarabad, Pirojpur in Bangladesh.
Good morning, everyone. Honorable Director of Sukul Institute, and our homeopathic doctors, teachers, and delegates, best wishes. I am Dr. M. Jahangir, consultant and researcher of alternative medical care, director of health of Ministry of Health Bangladesh, and chairman Ideal Research and Science Lab Bangladesh. And you know, I am ex-principal of Swarup Kati Homeopathic Medical College. Today, I am presenting a CKD patient case who is doing dialysis for several times. He is doing dialysis twice in a week. After 2 months of dialysis, he came to me for his treatment by homeopathy. We know, usually I have seen yesterday also, doctors and patients and general people all are saying homeopathy is treating for tonsillitis, for inflammation, simple diseases, even jaundice. But world deadly diseases, in world deadly diseases, what can do by homeopathy? It is the demand for this time. We have to cure heart disease. We have to cure brain stroke. We have to cure cancer. We have to cure CKD patients. This is the need for new time for homeopathy. In this time, in my this lecture, I have divided my my presentation in two parts. One is, first is prognosis of the disease, CKD, and why patient come to homeopathy, and which time patient come to homeopathy, and second one, what a homeopathic do in this situation. First we see the world situation, urinary tract infection. One thing you see, there is a study report of urinary tract infection. In this study, there is 2 years, and one is 1990 and second one 2019. In this 29 years later, the death by kidney disease is increased 2.4 times. This is a huge number of death. Do you know why these rates are increasing so high? Because the treatment which we are giving to the patient is not sufficient. And which treatment? First, when a patient found that he is suffering with kidney disease or urine infection, first of all, a patient go to an allopathic doctor to treat his patient. The patient not come to first to a homeopathic doctor. Why? Because there is no advertisement policy in our government for homeopathic treatment. Patient goes there in stage 1 and 2. Patient cannot understand what he have. He cannot see any sign or symptom in him. So usually patient come to a doctor in stage 3 or stage 4. When he found that he had edema on his legs or any other part of the body, then in stage 3, this is the mild to moderate damage already done in the kidney. In this modern treatment, doctors go to dialysis. First of all, doctor says to the patient, your kidney is going to damage, so we have to do dialysis. It is a brainwash. I think it is a brainwash because in this situation, we are not going to treat the patient. We are going to minimize the symptom, only one symptom, that is edema. Only edema is reducing by dialysis, not treating the patient as a whole. In this stage, and stage 4, this is the stage 4 is the advanced kidney damage. Both kidney, at the time that both kidney are damaging, the sign that edema can find extremities, both extremities, upper and lower, especially lower extremities. Then an allopathic doctor going to dialyze the patient, and finally you have to transplant your kidney. But as there is many causes of kidney damage, but which patient I am going to say here, this is a pyelonephritis. That is the infection in the kidney. So I do emphasis in pyelonephritis always. Pyelonephritis has two parts, acute pyelonephritis and chronic pyelonephritis. You know, acute is a sudden or a severe inflammation in the kidney, and chronic pyelonephritis is nephritis also had infection also in the kidney, but it is taking very long time. See the picture. A normal kidney is that. Sorry. A normal kidney on the left side, and the pyelonephritic kidney, there is pus in the pus cells in the kidney, and we can see red marks. There is inflammation and accumulation of blood in the kidney, and sometime atrophy. Here is not atrophy, pyelonephritis and not atrophy. I think many cases I have seen maximum from the kidney infection, that is pyelonephritis, and other is very common case in the CKD patient, that is kidney stenosis, sometimes atrophy kidney, due to there are functional disturbances, there are cysts in the kidney, mainly cysts in the kidneys. These are the maximum cases found. Secondly, after pyelonephritis. But why these cases come to us, become a patient attacked by the CKD? I will mention 10 common causes. We see, maximum time we see, patients are taking painkillers, sleeping pills. These are chemical medicines. I will not say it's chemical medicine. I will say these are the chemical poisons which create a kidney to damage it. Secondly, eating table salt. Table salt also accumulate water in the kidney. Table salt also make blockage in the kidney, and also it increases the pressure, high pressure, that cause a kidney damage. Eating processed food. Processed food have sodium and phosphorus. Both are the main cause for the kidney damage. Eating too much meat, basically red meat. Meat causes in the stomach acidity. It creates acidity. Acidity, one of the main cause for the damage. High sugar, it is also, sugar can produce diabetes and damage also. Not drinking enough food. We have seen sometimes we are not drinking enough food. Basically, women who are running for hair, they are traveling from bus, they are not taking much water. They suffer for the kidney infection. Finally, it comes to kidney damage. Drinking alcohol. Alcohol had a limitation to drink. Each day, 4 drinks is sufficient. More than 4 drinks can create kidney damage. Smoking always knows, everybody knows smoking is harmful for kidney and also for the lung. Missing out on sleep. Sleep is a best process to regulate our body's maximum function. Can create, sleeping can create a good nourishment to the kidney and all over other organs. Because in the time of sleep, all the functions go slow, but it is other hormones or secretions go to lower level. Sitting still. Sitting still, it is causing the still is also create kidney damage, but research is not found, is still not found, which is the cause for sitting still. Urinary tract infection antibiotic. I do not say which antibiotic is helpful. There is different 3rd generation antibiotics, but E. coli and Klebsiella pneumoniae, both are, after 2015, no antibiotic is activating against these 2 bacteria. I have seen in USA in 2015, there is a TED conference, science conference, TED conference. This TED conference, it is declared that all the antibiotics are resist against all bacteria. Another thing, purchasing antibiotic. In our country, we have seen, in third world country, antibiotics can purchase, every person can purchase antibiotic from a village pharmacy without a prescription. This is one of the cause of resistance of the antibiotic. I go further. There is another study. I am going to my patient's study. This is the dialysis process. This is a homeopathic patient. The patient age is 53. He had edema of whole body, but the picture is not showing that it is after his recovery this patient has taken. He is living in a district, Pabna, in Bangladesh. When he found that he has gotten edema in whole body, he go to the doctor to treat his disease in a hospital. Doctor dialysis him for several times, but the creatinine level does not reduced. This is I think we cannot see the picture. Yes. You see, during admission, patient creatinine was 646.22 micromole per liter. And the second one, during discharge, the patient's creatinine come to 673. Not so much reduced, but edema was reduced, so patient is happy. Next time, he had taken several, it is his ultrasonogram report, it is also said that the patient is suffering renal panic, board or edematous. These are the other investigations. I go to the final. It is the third time dialysis. Before the third time dialysis, the creatinine level is so high than previous levels. This is the blood count of before third time dialysis. Here his hemoglobin, RBC, all is reducing and WBC is increasing. This is showing that his inflammation is still present there. On the case, I don't say that. One thing you see, creatinine level on admission in hospital after these red marks are in allopathic dialysis period, and when the patient come to the homeopathy, 81.33, next month he got 75 micromole per liter. This is the two readings are in normal level. And one thing I will say only one thing, the treatment. Then I will close my lecture. First, Bodnofil treatment system. Bodnofil wrote it in his book, but it is the system of Korsakovian system. In Korsakovian system, there is number 1 is ground remedy, number 2 is functional remedy, number 3 is drainage remedy. When a complicated case come to a homeopath, there need the 3 type of medicines to give him. When we found there, this is infection or inflammation in the patient, we will go to the ground remedy, that is, I have given graphitis. And secondly, functional. When inflammation goes on, the patients got edema because of that function of the kidney is not well done. So in this time, in this section, in the functional remedy, I have given him epismel. And thirdly, drainage remedy, a kidney special remedy is cantharis. This is the drainage remedy. Thank you all. I cannot run over. Thank you all for for your patience.
Thank you, Doctor, for your valuable lecture. Actually, we are very much shortage of our schedule program, so we have to conclude each and every lecture in a very short time. I request Professor R. Vijayanand, Deputy Director, Sri Shairam Homeopathic Medical College and Research Center, Chennai, India. Sir, please come on the dais. Dr. Mini, please. Yeah. Professor R. Vijayanand, sir. Professor R. Vijayanand, are you here, sir? Okay, probably he is not here. The next speaker is Dr. Kalaivani Vijayanand, Director. Our next speaker is Dr. Kalaivani Vijayanand, Director, Vijay Homeo Clinic, Chennai, India. Both are outside. Okay. Okay, a slight change in our schedule. May I request Dr. Mini Mehta, Medical Officer, Rajiv Gandhi Cancer Institute of Research Center, India, to deliver her lecture. Dr. Mehta, your time limit is 10 minutes.
I'll finish in 8. Any video? They have videos in it only. Which one? This one. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Mini Mehta, and I am practicing as a palliative care physician in one of the biggest cancer hospital of Asia, Rajiv Gandhi Cancer Hospital. It is in New Delhi, and I managed to work here after a lot of hard work, you can say. So I am placed as palliative care physician, and I work through homeopathic medicines. So in that setup, when patients are over with their cancer treatment, they are referred to me when they're in palliative care in the advanced stage of disease. And also patients who want to take homeopathic medicine along with their conventional treatment, they contact me. So wherever the art of medicine is loved, there is always love for humanity. And I always had love for humanity, so I developed, and or you can say I fell in love with the art of medicine. So I would be starting a topic which has been a topic of warfare since the time of Hahnemann, that is palliative medicine. Because there is a lot of conflict how to prescribe, whether to use the principle, law of similars in prescription of such advanced stages, what dosages, how many medicines, when to mix, not to mix, single medicine, multiple medicine, how we should give in all these palliative cases. So I was very curious about that, and I got a chance to work in this area, so I would be sharing it. Nowadays, people are talking a lot about integrative medicine. Homeopathy should be integrated with the conventional medicine. So let's see how it can be done, or how it can be integrated, complemented, or any other way. Chronic inflammation is the reason behind the most of the cancer pains. You know, a lot of people, when they're diagnosed with cancer, they don't suffer from very severe pains that they're crying with pains. They just find out some lump, or they find some ulcero-proliferative growth in their body, which is not so painful that they are crying with pain or they are using painkillers. But once they start taking the chemotherapy, radiotherapy, or when they're over with the treatment, they go through a lot of pain. So this systemic inflammation needs to be reduced. And what do you mean by palliative care? Palliative care is often known as relieving the sufferings on physical, psychosocial, and spiritual plane. Palliative care focuses on the symptoms relief. It intends neither to hasten or postpone death. So here, we don't have a lot of responsibility that your patient should be cured, so you can apply your medicines. It's not working. Persistent oxidative stress is the basic problem all the patients feel during their chemotherapy and radiotherapy treatment. They suffer neuropathy, radiation, proctitis in brain, cardiovascular system problems, chemo brain, and they are due to different medicines used for the process of chemotherapy. I'm not explaining it because I have to be fast. So let us go to the possibilities of homeopathy. It is impossible that there can be another true best method of curing dynamic non-surgical diseases beside homeopathy. I feel this because now I will be sharing cases. There was a child who was suffering from low-grade fever since a month, and there was a huge swelling, and he was referred to the cancer center. They did a bone marrow testing, and they found it was not cancer. So they could not do chemotherapy, but they did not have any treatment to solve this problem. They sent this child back home. He was already taking allopathic treatment to solve this problem. And it was not solved. They came to a cancer center. Still, lot of diagnosis work was done, but it was not solved. But post-biopsy, he suffered more. So in this condition, this child came to me. Okay, it's not working. Why? Please help.
দেখো রোলিং এ একটু সমস্যা রয়েছে।
fever since 1 month and swelling over the right side of the face. Right side of the face, and post biopsy, there was a problem in opening this eye also. So still the problems were same, although he was not diagnosed with cancer. And his hemoglobin was also very low. He was an anemic child. And I took the case and I started with chamomilla with this child. And because he was very cranky, irritable, irritability was the keynote I was getting out of the case. I started treating him and he started getting better. Then China was the remedy I used, and slowly he was getting better overall. Swelling, still I could find the swelling, and mother told me that swelling is a bit softer than before, and he started improving, and you won't believe within next 6 weeks he was all fine. And after that they did the hemogram also, and his hemoglobin was 9, from 7 to 9. So this is, I don't want to use this word because once I used the magic of homeopathy, somebody corrected me, don't use this word magic. It's a science. But you see, a child who was suffering from past 6-7 months, he got all right, way much better in 3 to 4 weeks with homeopathy. Homeopathy only. And this is a case of a lady, she was referred to me because she was unable to tolerate radiotherapy. She was advised 30 radiations, but when she reached the 14th, 15th radiation, her mouth was full of ulcers. She could not dare to make an act of swallowing also. She was not even comfortable having meals through this nasogastric pipe also. So when I prescribed her acid nitric 30, followed by when patient comes to you, you cannot take a constitution. You have to find out what is your problem, how does it increase, क्या ज़्यादा परेशानी है, कैसे कम होता है, where are the extensions. Then you will apply. I applied acid nitric 30. When she was better, I was able to talk more. Then I got to know she's a CPR personality. And very clear-cut CPR she was. I gave her CPR 1 ml, 1 dose, followed by again acid nitric 200. She was much better, and within a week this thing was removed. And she was better. So here my job was to relieve the pain, and I did it. I went back to the radiologist who referred me this case, and he was more than happy, and he kept referring me such cases who were resistant. And this is the next case. This patient was having a huge painful swelling. The pain was so much. Along with the painkillers also, it was not reducing. With this pain, he was having increased urge of urination, and this patient could speak. So when I took a history, I got to know that he started to suffer with this disease when he was only 3 months were left for his retirement from a government job, and somebody in the office put some blame on him. Just because of that, he entered into some court case, and he suffered a severe insult conflict. And I treated this case with Staphylococcus aureus. I gave him Staphylococcus aureus, and this swelling was also reduced. It drained a lot of pus, and even his incontinence and increased urge for urination also improved. And now this is a case, this man was so hopeless, so hopeless. Who would like to hear from a doctor? I think you have only 3 to 6 months, wind up everything. This man was a security guard, and he spent almost 16 lakhs on his treatment, and he was very sincerely, he followed all the treatment. And now, when he was hopeless, he came to me just like this only. This was his expression. He said, "Ma'am, बस थोड़ा दर्द कम कर दो तो थोड़ा टाइम निकल जाए, अच्छा नहीं लगता है, बच्चे लोग सब परेशान होते हैं. मैं आई टेक मॉर्फिन 3 times a day, 20 mg, along with all other painkillers also. Still there was lot of pain. So he was not in a position to talk much, but he had a wet cold cloth with him, and he used to put it on his face, and he had a huge swelling on his face. And what I got to know, whatever I asked, that there is a lot of heat sensation in the body, better by applying cold. I started with Apis, and he started feeling better. And I would like to share the area which is covered. It has a huge ulcer. That when he used to eat food, the dal used to come out from that ulcer. Huge necrosed ulcer he was having. I will show you. My dear seniors and my dear friends, I am no expert. I just took the case, symptom by symptom. I started treating and I got results. This was the condition. I don't think so, it's clear here. Can you see? It was a very huge necrosed, yellow looking ulcer, and very sticky discharge was there inside it. And after Apis, when he came, I prescribed Hydrestis Scan 30, and then it started becoming red. Lot of blood supply started coming to this part, and it started to close then. And I treated this patient for 9 months. And after Hydrestis Scan 30, Hydrestis Scan 200, he started to speak. He became so active, so energetic. I was wondering from where this energy is coming out, and I got to know, and he became much energetic and much better when I interviewed him, and I chose Cocculus indicus to prescribe when he told me that he worries about his children. When he'll die only, he's sad about his children. And he was so caring for his wife that he says, I am awake all the time in the night. If I have to take water, and he used to take medicine and everything on his own, if I have to take water, I'll walk like this, that they should not get disturbed. So after prescribing this medicine, he again got much, much better. And the wound was this much closed and clear. But when it got closed, he started having a lot of eruptions on the lower body. I told him, it's all right, they will also go. But in the hospital in which I'm working, surgeons support me more than the medical oncologist. So he was showing me and simultaneously going to a surgeon. Then he showed up these eruptions on the back to him. Then he convinced him somehow to take some medicines to suppress these eruptions. And then he died. After taking those medicines, he developed vomiting full of blood and everything. He was admitted and he died. I really felt very bad, but I will show you how much he improved with my medicine. वॉल्यूम नहीं आ रहा है, देखो. नहीं, सुबह करके गई हूँ. He said कि मैम अब तो ऐसा लगता है, पहले तो क्या था कि हाथ भी नहीं लगता था, मैं नहा भी नहीं सकता था, और इतना बदबू आता था, इतना स्मेल आता था. अब तो ऐसे लगता है कि मैं, if I don't see to that place, as if there is nothing. So, and look at him. He told me that today I walked for 7 kilometers and I was feeling more and more energetic. He became smarter, he was hopeful, but he developed those eruptions in the body. He took medicine from it because that surgeon's daughter-in-law was a skin specialist. So he made a reference, another reference, and he died. Now, when I entered the hospital, I was placed with a pain specialist because I was given a position of palliative care physician, so I was with a pain specialist. She used to visit one patient from who was suffering from GBM grade 4, and they were treating him till the time he was walking. Then I used to tell that lady, please take me along, I will be helping your patients. But she always refused. One day she was very grateful to me and she told me, I've got a case for you. You're very intelligent. You have to do wonders in that case. And she took me to the patient, and patient was in this condition. Almost dead. He said, do wonders, doctor.
मेरे कन देखियो
So he was a 50 years old, normotensive, non-diabetic man, and he was diagnosed case of GBM grade 4 right frontal lobe. Here he received radiotherapy, chemotherapy. This patient was referred to me when his general condition was poor, lying awake all the times. Chewing was slow, like they used to put morsel in his mouth and he was like chewing, not chewing, nothing. He was looking here and there. Abhi seriously, I thought, ki, what will I do with him? But still, I thought I need to just put my efforts, rest will be seen. So, I started taking the case by the bedside. I was interviewing the son. This man, I got this feeling that he is listening to everything. So I said, how was he before he fell sick? What kind of person he was? He was a businessman. Okay, what did he like? He told me, my father liked spicy food. I said, hari mirch ke lal mirch, green chili or red chilies? Son said, green chilies. And he did some gesture. He was also listening that I have come and I'm doing something. And after I started my medicine, 2 weeks after my medicine, he suffered with COVID, so he came back to the hospital, so I was so fortunate to see him. You know what did I prescribe? Nux vomica, LM1. Why? Because this person was suffering with spastic paralysis, frog-like legs. And the pain specialist told me, if you will touch her slightly, so he will just, there will be a reaction. But if you will hold it tightly, there is no reaction. He was suffering from spastic paralysis, and all what when I took the case, after everything, I chose Nux vomica as his remedy, LM1. So he started getting his consciousness back, LM2, LM3. He was better than he suffered from COVID-like symptoms, so he was admitted. Then I read and I found plumbamide, a very good medicine for spastic paralysis. After 3 doses of plumbamide, he was much better, much more awake. But I continued with Nux vomica in LM potency.
नहीं बेटा नहीं ठीक है पापा सीधे देखो सिद्धि बोलो 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 मेरा नाम बताओ क्या है क्या है मेरा भूल गया मेरा नाम ये नाम है मेरा जानता नाम बताओ
And then he was sitting, he was having his own cup of tea. Every time when they used to come for the refilling of their medicine, I used to give 1 dose of plumbamide again. Because there was no fixed criteria in this. I never learned it from somewhere, but I felt this medicine worked. So I used to give it weekly or in 15 days, and he continued improving, and he improved much, and he lived for next 1.5 years, and then he died. So I'll be fast. This is another case. He was taking immunotherapy, and I have seen when people are on immunotherapy, there are very good results, but these people are unable to recognize that what they're doing with immunotherapy. Whenever people take immunotherapy, they come up with lymph nodes. They feel better when the growths come out. They come up with lymph nodes and so many things, which they again suppress. So they don't know what they're doing. So this person, he was taking immunotherapy, and he was suffering with this swelling, and he was a businessman, and I took a case, and it was a left-sided pain, throat pain. I gave him Legacies. He improved very much with it, and within 8 weeks, the swelling was gone. And similarly, there's so many cases I have seen, I have treated with homeopathy, simply stepwise retaking the case and employing medicines. Till now, I have never felt the need to mix anything, to give lot of medicines. I still wonder if a patient already on morphine and so many medicines, how many mother tinctures you want to give who have no indications, direct clear cut. So still now, I have been helping people with simple medicines, just which I found similar. And see, this carbuncle was really very bad, and it healed with homeopathy. His HbA1c came back to, it was 14 and it came back to 7. And this back healed, and nobody can believe. And one surgeon told me, he asked me, why do people come to you for this thing? Why they want to bear such pain? So they always tell me, homeopathy never works, you're a good psychologist. You counsel them a lot. So they build up trust in me. Then I answered, I said, because I counsel them a lot. Because that's why they trust me. So this is the way. This was a patient, she suffered from adenocarcinoma of uterus. She was sent back home with all the painkillers, but she was like this. Cancer pains are like this post-treatment.
क्या घुटना दुख रहा है? टांगे दुख रही हैं? पेट, कमर?
She was so irritable. She was throwing up things.
आंटी को मिल के आती हूँ. इतना दर्द आपको हो रहा था.
Again, the medicine was Nux vomica. But this time 1M potency I sent, and she was relieved, and we continued. Many cases of advanced cancer, it was coming from this side. When I started the medicine, the tongue healed, but again when side by side they are taking their medicine, they die. So I don't know whether it can be complemented, or when you start integrating, they have to listen to you only. This was a case of tongue cancer. Her tongue started to improve in the advanced stage. When they told her only, yes, she died within 6 months, but there was no pain. She was not on morphine, but she died of heart attack. Because they take a lot of medicines from them also. Again, this is a case, the next day her tongue was out. Crotalus horridus I gave. She was receiving chemotherapy. She was having a big fistula swelling here at the neck, which used to throw up big clots this much far away. Lot of people, they have dehiscence of flap. Their flaps fail to unite. There also our medicines work, and they are helped with this. Otherwise, in their pathy, in conventional medicine, they can't do much after this if it fails to join. Similarly, with this patient, they told him that we can't operate on it. And after the medicine, it started coming off, shedding off. And then they called me up that, yes, it shed off and father is able to breathe properly. This patient was ready to die. He was just living with lot of pain even after morphine. So, how do I ask? He was like this. He never wanted to look at me, because when morphine is failing, what this little girl, this new doctor wants to do to me, and he was not even looking at me. But pain was too much. But I kept asking, and I asked him to write down tick. So on that basis, again, Nux vomica worked, where morphine was not working. And I gave him Nux vomica in olfaction. And what happened? He was having this growth, it started to suppurate, and the discharge came out, and he was relieved. His morphine dosage was also relieved. So this is a normal case. This is the case of our hospital's gatekeeper's daughter, whom the surgeons told that we can only operate on it. They tried many medicines, but within 2 weeks, this case was resolved. I had to just give tuberculinum. So similarly, friends, there are so many cases. This was a case of non-healing graft. And when I started giving my medicine, what medicine? Lachesis. And I chose it because the personality was Lachesis. And it started to heal. Lachesis. Then later on, along with calendula mother tincture, plastic surgeon was really shocked to see how fast it was improving. The next time when they used to they were dressing it up, he used to call me. So similarly, there are so many cases we are able to help. This is a case of breast cancer, and she has not taken any chemotherapy, and she is living a normal life. But now she tells me that she prayed a lot for 40 days in the temple, so she was fine just because of that. So these are few feedbacks which are going on my hospital's website, and just because of all these things, I'm having, I think, a short time in my hospital, because people are giving their reviews that people have started telling their doctors, we are ready to die, but we can't live with this pain. People who are experiencing homeopathy. So this was my experience, who is not an expert. I have a practice of 15 years in homeopathy, and I have always learned from my seniors. So when I was able to do this, so maybe if we'll unite and do more diligent work on it, and if it can work in the cases post chemo and radio, if we'll start to take virgin cases, and we should have a hospital of our own, so we can have much better results. But I believe one day it will happen. Thank you very much. Thank you for the patience hearing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Mini Mehta, for our valuable lecture, experience sharing. Thank you very much. Now, may I call Dr. Rahul D. Datre, Director, D&K Pharmaceuticals, India, to deliver his lecture. Sir, your time limit is 10 minutes. Okay? 9 minutes. Okay, thank you very much.
Good afternoon, all of you, and thank you, Dr. Anirban Sukul sir and Sukul Institute of Homeopathy, for giving me chance to present myself here. Dignitaries in front of me, Dr. Sahani sir, Dr. Sarkar sir, and many more, Dr. Sukul sir. My dear friends, we know the father of homeopathy, our master, Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. But when we think of mother of homeopathy, that is our mother tinctures. When we manufacture real good mother tinctures, then we manufacture good back potencies and good high dilutions. So my topic is how to prepare good mother tinctures. Then what is mother tincture? Mother tincture is nothing but a liquid preparation resulting from sources, mainly plants or animal substance, material with alcohol or water with specific ratio. In one word, mother tincture are the herbal extract. Mother tincture are also made up of natural minerals or some animal sources. Friends, mother tincture are the lowest potency of any of homeopathic medicines. Mother tincture have fast action and their action remains for a long time. Mother tincture are the base of homeopathic medicines and also having curative action in various disorders. Like Dr. Mini Madam said, in calendula used for cancer fever, there are many more mother tinctures used in clinical practice. So, according to Dr. Robin Murphy, mother tincture are the plant extract which stimulate the organs or system of body. These tinctures are alcoholic solution of plant material. They are prepared by maceration. The plant are packed at the most harmonious time and chop up and put into a glass with pure alcohol added. So tinctures are almost identical in nature with fluid extract. Tincture made from fresh, braised or crushed herbs by maceration, where knows the tincture herbarum or ricentum or the tincture of fresh herbs. Our master's view about mother tincture. While Hahnemann observed the plant moisture is a part of medicinal substance, but in modern view, my topic is just short. Modern view about mother tinctures. The modern view is that the plant moisture contains merely a vehicle or it is a mainstem, not the active principle of mother tincture. The active principle is maybe different from their moisture. So, because the dry crude substance, it is to be taken as the starting point from where it calculates strength, and mother tincture contains all the soluble matter from 1 gram of the dry plant in 10 minutes of the mother tinctures. In accordance with the suggestion of American Institute of Homeopathy at Nigeria falls in 1888, the Pharmacopoeia Committee have prescribed the necessary rules to make the dilution to correspond medicinal strength with trituration of the some number. So, how we prepare mother tincture in lab? The mother tincture are preparation based on the plant drugs that are generally obtained from fresh plant grown in their natural habitat and collected in balsamic time. Mother tincture as defined as solution of phytocomplexes of fresh medicinal plant in ethyl alcohol different grades 60 degree to 80 degree reported in the French Pharmacopoeia. So what is moisture content? What is real? How to calculate the moisture content? According to our master, Samuel Hahnemann had considered the moisture as a part of active constituent of the plant and preparation were based on this consideration. But the strength of tincture varied due to variability of moisture content in the same plant at the different time, season and condition of growth, procurement and storage of that plant. So, if we determine the moisture content and if we manufacture or prepare the mother tincture, there are two processes. For determination of moisture content, there are several chemical methods. There are gravimetric methods, means weight method, and separation and measurement of moisture, that is also called distillation method. Gas chromatography, when there are two or more active principles in mother tincture like belladonna content, atropine, and belladonine. So gas chromatography use, then chemical method like Carl-Fisher titration and spectroscopic method. There are chemicals method, I am not going through details of this. This is for moisture content, but when we have to ascertain the active principle, there are extraction. The extraction based on two processes in homeopathy, basically. The principle is done in homeopathy by maceration and percolation. So, maceration, it is the long process of preparation of mother tincture in modern method from vegetable and animal sources using strong alcohol as a solvent under normal temperature and pressure, keeping the drug in contact with mainstem for several days with the frequent agitation, and it is the process preferable for the preparation of mother tincture from drug material needing more time to extract the active principle. Example like gummy and mucilaginous plant like ginseng and etc. Plant moisture is ascertained and quantity of menstruum calculated accordingly. Drug is reduced to pulp and glaze mortar. Place a material into the macerating jar. Add a pre-calculated quantity of solvent. Jar is stopped and prevent the evaporation and agitated it daily. This time required for this mother tincture too long, 2 to 4 weeks, and then descend clear supernatant liquid and press out the residue through a press or a clean linen cloth or bag, having allowed a mixed product to maybe 24 hours again. Then the short process for preparation of mother tincture is percolation. The percolation is a short extracting the soluble constituent of drug and preparing the mother tincture by the passage of solvent through the powdered drug contained in a suitable vessel called the percolator for a definite period of time as per direction of specification in pharmacopoeia. So principal forces involved in the percolation are the gravitation, weight of the column of liquid above the powder, force of capillary, and viscosity. More the viscosity, time will be more. Then adhesion of packed drug substance is also a force for the percolation. Then this is the percolator, the gas wool, drug substance, filter paper, wash sand, and then which menstruum is used, or alcohol, or maybe distilled water. And this, all this process is called percolation, and this is the apparatus we use in percolation. There are 5 processes of percolation: the comminution, moistening the drug, packing of the drug, percolation, and last but not least, termination of percolation. So comminution means drug should be reduced to the particle or more or less fineness by mortar or pestle. The degree of fineness should be confirmatory with the specification mentioned under the each monograph of pharmacopoeia. Then moistening the drug. This is very important point in the percolation, because when we moistening the drug, before packing drug in the percolator, it is moistened with the menstruum so that when the drug come in contact with the menstruum, the compressed dried cells are swollen and their normal size, and it is for swelling occur within the percolator, it would cause sufficient expansion to spoil the percolation. Then packing of drug, absorbent cotton in the neck, layer of coarsely powdered glass, finely powdered glass, and porous glass. There are the packing for the percolation. Then over the moistened pulp, taking care of the mass is compact with free from fissures. Cover the upper surface of mass with the dish of filter paper and thin layer or finely powdered glass in fine water sand. Then how percolation done? Pour menstruum in divided quantity upon the content until the mass is covered, allowing the fluid run gently down the glass rod. Close percolator with lid of prevent dust. Contamination prevention is very important in percolation process. So close the valve as soon as fluid begin to drop. Allow stand for 24 hours and then 10 to 30 drops per minute, starting getting our active principle, that is our mother tincture. And termination of percolation. Residue left after the percolation called mass and retain a considerable amount to the moisture, press strongly to exact remaining tincture from it. Add sufficient menstruum to make the required volume. Resulting tincture is to filter paper into glass bottle and mark it as a signed Q. That is our mother tincture. This is the fast process we use for preparation of mother tincture, the maceration and percolation. Then last point is use of mother tincture. When we are standing here talking about high dilutions, my request to newcomer homeopath, don't do allopathic practice in your starting days. In your clinic, when you start, you are not 10 to 15 years experience. You are just starting, take mother tinctures and do your practice with mother tinctures. Then day by day, by genius, you are expert and getting similimum dose. Then you are starting high dilutions. So, use of mother tinctures as a herbal tonic, that we are all known, alfalfa, Vaithia somenipira, chahena, ginseng. Then hypertension, baratam use, systolic blood pressure is high. diastolic blood pressure is low, use Baratamur, Passiflora or All-Pia for blood pressures, Badiaga. I'm not going to details of that. You all are known. Use Barbaris equifolium in acne. And last point, these all are you know. The cancer feeder that in my clinic, I observed that the cancer feeder patient without any single dose medicines, Chinamonium, mother tincture giving very much good relief to the cancer feeder patients and they are almostly cured. So mother tinctures are also a medicines. Use it in your clinic and if you are expert, genius, then go to dilutions. First, mother tinctures are our medicines and my topic only is that don't forget the mother tincture in your practice. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me time and express myself. I am Dr. Rahul Date, manufacturing head D&K Pharmaceutical, Savner, Nagpur, and I request all the dignitaries from other countries, please visit Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra, where there is herb. We also call Satpura Pahadis. The Satpura Pahadi is also a capital of herb. The botanical experts are here. They are also, please visit the Pachmadi and there are many of herb which are read in our botany or our homeopathic pharmacy. There are good quality and habitats there, very much good herbs. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Rahul Datte, Director, D&K Pharmaceuticals India, for his valuable lecture with respect to the use of mother tincture. Now, may I request Professor Dr. R. Vijay Anand, Deputy Director, Sri Shairam Homeopathic Medical College, India, for his lecture. Sir, your time limit is 10 minutes only.
Good afternoon. With due respect to the follow-up speaker, I'll be rushing my topic. And here my topic is the scope of homeopathy in autism. This one slide I'll talk, other slide I will not talk. Because the point is, my aim and objective is just I want to go with evidence-based medicine. Like I want to prove the community rather talking, create an evidence that speaks rather me speaking. As Hanuman said in 64 of Purism, every system has got a scope and limitations. My strong gut feeling is we need to find out the limitations of other system. That is the scope of our system. So first slide, I've been showing a picture of a keloid. The definition of keloid in Google is non-healing surgical ulcer, which we have treated with homeopathy silicea. But again, whatever we talk about silicea, whatever we talk about homeopathy, nobody is going to believe. But if I show this picture, they believe. They're ready to believe. So when I'm talking about autism, nobody believes. Not only homeopath, neurologist, psychiatrist, clinicians, beyond everything, mother, every mother of a child is a scientist. Nobody believes. But how to convince? Just create a clinical evidence. So 10 years back, I started a journey of autism. Almost 1,800 cases I've crossed. I created evidence. Just to justify, already Hanuman said, we have very good scope. This is a wheel which not created by me. It has been famous in Google. Already they have very clearly mentioned emotional trauma mother-child. It is not by us, it is by scientific people. So ultimately, the psychosomatic approach, they also believe, and it is one of the cause, which I want to highlight here. Again, how to diagnose autism? Again, there is a confusion. The mother has to go to the pediatrician or a psychiatrist or a neurologist, to whom? Now people are turning into the alternative system. They are ready to come towards homeopathy because of Professor Google. Because ChatGPT, Google is now current era. Nobody believes. Whereas they go to the ChatGPT, Google, they ask, ultimately we also comes under top priority. Mother doesn't want science. Mother doesn't want evidence. Mother doesn't want proof. They just go to the reviews, what other parents says. Then they believe. Convincing our group is very easy task by many areas by doing all these things. But convincing a mother of a child is very challenging, which is very tough task, which we have to achieve, I strongly believe. Again, coming to this, everybody talks about when you cross 1,800, why don't you do a research or something, work on that. This investigation, even a lot of errors are there. What are the investigation AETC cars we have been using, it is not by Indian. Indian, we have an assessment tool called as ESA-HAP, which one Indian's clinicians have come out and which has taken 7 years of her life. That has taught me not to go into the research. Because just to come out with one investigation tool, it has taken 7 years to convince the scientists and government. So rather, I don't have such life. I want to prove to the community where all this I've been sharing to the not only homeopath, neurologists, psychiatrists, wherever worldwide autism conference. So just to give a little outline what I'm doing. I'm going to show you the videos, lot of videos. I just divide every kid into just 3 categories. One is sensory. Madam was talking about ADHD, nothing but brain. All this ASD will be nothing but light, excessive light, they will be hyperreactive. Excessive smell, hyperreactive. So it's very difficult to find out which is normal, which is abnormal. So first we need to find out which category of this patient. Based on that, my medicines. Medicine is, there's no secret. I'm going to share with the next slide what is the medicine. That's an easy task. But differentiating these 3 categories, one is sensory category. The other category is kinetic. Everybody knows. Fidgetive, fast, hyperactivity, restlessness, everything. Third category is regression. These 3 categories I just divide. Based on my experience, these are the medicines which I prescribe. But again, there's a controversy. When I practice internationally, cannabis indica, I cannot write on the prescription. Regarding kinetic and stereotype, cannabis indica, cinna, aurum, tarantula, which I have been commonly using. And regressive type, Baretacarb, Zincamet, and before. Many of the articles says Baretacarb, which is already one more valuable information which I would like to share is how we have to handle ADHD. CCRH has done an excellent job, which is already published, which is there in the net. How to arrive this. So I'm not here to teach how to take the case, how to repertorize, and how I arrived. Just direct point. This is what. And if you ask the honest question, what is the best medicine in your experience? Carcinosin. This I found, which is very effective. The other, hyoscyamus. I think Madam ADHD, I was finally looking for what is the name of the medicine. Hyoscyamus, which has come. So I'm very confident even I'm also going on the right track. Then dose. Some people ask a lot of questions on the dose. For high functioning, I'm going with minimal, infrequent, and other things, regular dose. So again, as I said, my talking is over. So I'm going to show some videos. Shano? Autism boy. So, now I said 3 category. You can differentiate this boy, any one category, and you can think of Shano, dinner saptacha. Hand clapping. No attention, no perception. Toe walking. Shano? நீங்க ஏதாவது கமெண்ட்ஸ் கொடுங்க மேடம் ஃபாலோ பண்றேனா பாப்போம் சரி நீங்க ஏதாவது கமெண்ட் கொடுங்க வெல்ல மேடம் ask him to sit madam. He will not focus more than few seconds. Only 1 second he will focus, then he will move. You could see fidgetiveness. Lack of time. I'm moving to the next slide. This is just to make others to understand.
He will bite, he will never bite in the sense, he will not bite you. He will bite this collar, he will bite anything that comes. He will not bite any, hurt anyone. He will...
So now you understood how autism kid. This is just a live recording. I have not given any translation, animation or anything because when I'm going to the other community, everybody will think it's a fabricated, all such nonsense comes in the mind. It's a raw footage.
Names alone.
I'll go to the next slide.
What is your name, madam?
More willing to play and it's not other kids. Yes.
Just a minute. This one was missing. This video was missing. So that first video. Yeah, play. This is autism when he visited my clinic. ஒரு விஷயத்தை சொன்னா கேக்குறான் முதல்ல எப்படி இருந்தது 6 monthsக்கு முன்னாடி எப்படி இருந்தான் almost this is after 6 months parent is trying to say he is improving but I'll show you the final video because lack of time I'm rushing
தேடுவான் ஆனா வந்து கரெக்டா எடுக்க மாட்டான் பட் ஆனா அவனோட திங்ஸ் பேக் ஆகட்டும் செப்பல் ஆகட்டும் வாட்டர் பாட்டில் ஆகட்டும் இது மூணும் வந்து ரெகுலரா பண்றான் ஏன்னா டெய்லி போலாம்
ready to follow the instruction he is ready to do the thing டாய்லெட் ஹேபிட்ல முதல்ல நம்ம ஹோமியோ ஸ்டார்ட் பண்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி எப்படி இருந்தா இப்போ எப்படி பிஹேவ் பண்றோம் டாய்லெட் ஹேபிட்ஸ்
வாட்டர் மேல போயிட்டே இருக்காரு உட்கார்ந்துட்டு யூரின்ல போறாங்க ஹார்ட் மோஷனும் சரி அப்பதான் ஸ்கூல் போனதுல இருந்து நாங்க ஸ்கூல்ல கொண்டு போய் விடுறோம் அப்புறம் ஒரு தடவை பாத்து கொண்டு போய் விடுறோம் வீட்ல வந்து எனக்கு அந்த டைம் மிஸ் ஆயிடுது
ஸ்பீச் எப்படி இருக்கு
ஸ்பீச் இப்பதான் லைக்
this boy is already 6 months completed because lack of time I'm pushing so after almost 2 years you can see the video how he is forward it from the beginning. It's not coming. No, back. This one is back. Just a minute. Just a minute. Enter. I want to go with this slide. I will do. No. Leave it. I will do on my own. Just open the PPT. Open the PPT. Open this PPT. Yeah. Play from the beginning. Yeah, leave it. Play from the beginning. Start. Always video files technical error comes here also. Morning I tried morning. It was good, but again there was one video was missing. That's the reason I started. Okay, so we can divide this child into 3 categories, and you could have seen the first video. And the boy second video,
the photo is very
see this is how he is right now. So this is a clear evidence. You could have seen how I explained how the child comes to our clinic with hyperactivity and after 6 months, after 9 months, this is almost after 2 years. So now you can see all normal kids. Hyperactivity is reduced, eye contact is improving, fine motor skills are improving, almost the child is becoming like a normal. This is one case. And moving to the next case. This is a patient from Malaysia, Johor Bahru, which I treated. Not Johor Bahru. This is during Corona. I was carrying out my work. This was a Zoom consultation. You could see the parent is giving the.
Okay, இப்போ நீங்க இருக்கிறது UK தான மேடம்?
She's in UK.
Okay, நம்ம medicine start பண்ணது எந்த month madam actually?
When we have started the medicine?
Beginning of April நினைக்கிறேன்.
April 2022, கரெக்ட்டுங்களா?
ஆமா, இந்த ஆமா.
Okay. இப்போ last 3 months அவருடைய therapy regular classes போயிட்டு இருக்காருங்களா?
ஆமா, ஸ்கூல்ல செப்பரேட் ஆயில ஸ்கூலால கொடுக்கறாங்க.
Okay.
Speech therapist.
அவரோட therapist கிட்ட நீங்க டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணீங்களா? ஹானிஃப்க்கு எப்படி இருக்கு last 3 months?
annual review வந்து இந்த 2nd of November எங்களுக்கு டியூ அப்பதான் பண்ணுவாங்க. பட் ஸ்கூல் டயரி இருக்கு எங்களுக்கு, ஹோம் ஸ்கூல் டயரி. அதுல அவருக்கு நல்ல கமெண்ட் பண்றாங்க. சிட்டிங் டோலரன்ஸ்,
There is a good comment, sitting tolerance improved. So we take the parent testimonials. Lack of time, I'm going to the other patient. So this is a patient from Malaysia, Johor Bahru.
What about going to the common place? How is it?
You could witness the improvement.
9 months.
Almost, this is 2 years, the kid is becoming normal. You could have listened the conversation. Lack of time, I'm pushing a lot of videos.
It will be around, I think, almost 2 courses of homeopathy medicines completed. We are on 3rd course, right? So, what are the improvements you are noticing?
This is a patient from Johor Bahru, almost 2 years. She's trying to say the improvement.
Okay.
The latest when we go to the school day to take the report card, right?
Okay.
The teachers would mention that actually he now can sit now.
Okay. Sitting tolerance has been improved like anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
On his place, he can sit down and then doing his own things.
Okay.
So we have a lot of videos like this. Almost, I created a lot of evidence. If time permits, I could have shared stage by stage. But I want to give a little message, final take home. This is the 60 cases which I have taken for a study. And I did little study on that. And p-value has come only 0.001. T-value is 11.08, which has given a good appreciation in the research community also. And these are the 60 cases, pre-treatment, post-treatment. I did little statistics. And this is outcome of assessment percentage. You could see definitely 30% in each and every category. Sensory, regression, all the category, I could see some improvement. And this is one message which I want to share here. Auxiliary measures where Hahnemann said about all. Here I want to mention only one point. Now, stem cell therapy and hyperbaric oxygen, which definitely for any autistic kid you can try. In Bombay, Neurogen, one Dr. Alok Sharma is doing a stem cell. Even I would like to request him to combine homeopathy medicine with stem cell. So research I'm planning to start in future. Let us see. We have a lot of hurdles in research, as you know. And nothing but I want to give this information to everyone that evidence are there. I have a lot of evidence, but only I don't have time to show the evidence. I just only given little evidence. 3 to 6 months is a time where we can definitely make a parent to convince and see the witness with their own eyes. If mother is going to convince, if mother is going to accept, ultimately I don't think so, I need to convince everyone. Then Google takes me to the global platform where I'm working. Parallelly, I'm also working on research. I'm also working. I want to take autism community to say a message that homeopathy is very effective. And I want to, these are some references. I want to say this group that homeopathy definitely, I cannot use the word cure because it is not a disease, it is a disorder. Definitely we can improve. Homeopathy definitely will improve autistic features, and early intervention is the one area which gives the best results. With this I conclude, and thanks for the time. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Dr. R. Vijayanand, for your valuable and informative presentation. Next, may I recall Dr. Kalaivani Vijayanand, Director, Vijay Homeo Clinic, Chennai, India, to deliver her lecture. Madam, your time limit is 10 minutes.
My topic is today on prevention of autism. This is the world map showing that the prevalence of autism throughout the world, and according to the statistics of 2020, 1 in 54 children are affected by autism, but this 2023, 1 in 34 children are affected with autism, which is a huge number. So the prevention of autism has to be right time to take into consideration. So how to prevent autism? Primary prevention, preventing the development of the problem. Secondary prevention is preventing the problem from causing the disease and removing the cause. Tertiary prevention is preventing the problem from progressing and causing the disability. In our clinic, as Sir told, this is a continuation of Sir's presentation. Around 1,800 cases we have crossed for past 10 years. And after 45 minutes of case taking, and this is the statistics which we got in our own clinic. where 70% of the autistic kids are caused by the maternal stress, and 20% is by the hypoxia, and 5% by the vaccination, and 5% by other causes. Vaccination caused autism is now very much reduced, and maternal cause is the leading cause for autism right now. So scientists are very much wanted to know how the maternal stress affects the developing fetus. So after so much of research work, we have got into a conclusion of some mechanism that affects the fetus from maternal stress affects the fetus. One of the mechanism is that HPA axis, that endocrine dysfunction. What happens when the mother is under stress? The cortico-releasing hormone from hypothalamus stimulates the pituitary gland. From the pituitary gland, adrenocorticotropic hormone is released. This adrenocorticotropic hormones activate the adrenal gland. From the adrenal gland, the adrenal cortex is released, where the cortisol is released into the blood. Now the maternal blood contains more amount of cortisol hormone, which is a stress hormone. This cortisol hormone has ability to cross the placenta. So this cortisol hormone crosses the placenta and reaches the fetus. So now fetus blood has increased amount of cortisol. This cortisol will affect the development problem of the kid, as well as the epigenetic dysfunctions will take place. What is epigenetic dysfunctions will take place in autism? In autism, the epigenetic dysfunction is that Fragile X syndrome. What is this Fragile X syndrome? I'm talking only about the autism. Rick syndrome is another condition which found under the same umbrella of ADHD. Rick syndrome is the gene that is affected in Rick syndrome is MECP is a gene that is affected in Rick syndrome, whereas in autism, FMR1 gene is affected. So the X chromosome, the tip of the X chromosome is getting condensed, fragile, it is broken. And the point of broken, what happened? The chromosome is getting condensed. The chromosome is condensed over here. So the gene that is present in this tip of the chromosome is FM1 gene, fragile metal retarded 1 gene. What happened to this gene? This gene is attached with trinucleotide. Usually in the gene combination, there are 4 nucleotides. That is, adenine will combine with thymine and guanine will combine with cytosine. This is the usually normal pairing of the gene. Now what happens in this X fragile syndrome? The cytosine will pair with 2 guanine. That is, trinucleotide combination takes place over here. And these trinucleotides get copied along, copied, the repetition goes on. If this repetition is 5 to 44, then it is normal. If it is more than 45 to 200, the mild autistic syndrome is seen, and if it's more than 200, the autistic features is severe. Now in female, the severity of autism is less seen because this FM1 gene, this backup is present in the other X chromosomes. So females are mild, severe autism is very much limited in females. So the autistic brain, what happens? The other stress hormone, first it affects a gene, second it affects any organ it will affect, but brain we are taking into consideration. I have many articles that is related to the brain, and according to the Journal of Molecular Psychiatric, they say that from birth the brain is normal. At birth the brain is normal. When the child enters 6 months at time, first we'll start from the outer, the cortex. Cortex starts enlarging. The enlarged cortex is enlarged. Because of the expansion of the cortex, the sensory and motor stimulus is getting affected. That is, the visual reception is lost, very less. And then the audit acoustic stimulus, the orientation to the surrounding clues of the environment is also reduced. When this happens in 6 to 12 months, as the baby grows, the brain is also overgrown. So what happens? The cognitive behavior is defected. This is taken from Journal of Molecular Biopsychiatrics. The same journal, as well as Journal Watch, says that CSF fluid in the brain is also increased at 1 year of age. When the behavior pattern is changed, as well as the motor sensory is delayed. These are the changes occurs because of increase of CSF fluid. And next to the Journal of Psychiatrics also says that there is an hyperconnection between the two brains. Okay, the white matter of the brain is getting connected. The genu of corpus callosum and the cerebral peduncle is getting connected. The fiber tracts is more. Since the fiber tracts is more, the neurons is getting confused what action to be performed. So, because of the confusion of the neurons, the learning and the memory power is very much less in autistic kids. Next, the limbic system is the main cause for autism. Many articles I have in my hand saying that limbic system is the main cause for autism. In limbic system, mainly this is the normal brain, which is in the color. Here you can see this sky blue color. This is the amygdaloid, which is normal at 6 to 12 months of birth. From 6 months, what happened? It is getting enlarged. You can see the yellow color over here. It's getting enlarged. Limbic system is mainly function of the limbic system is for fear and fight and for emotional facial expressions. It is very much affected because of the impairment of amygdala. Next, the hippocampus is also get enlarged after 6 to 12 months, and hippocampus is responsible for memory. So the memory is also delayed in autistic children because of the impairment of hippocampus. Next, the cerebellum. The cerebellum is also getting reduced after 6 months of development, after birth. I'm talking about after birth. So the cerebellum is impaired here. So the cognitive process is very much reduced. Coordination is reduced. Language, reception, social interactions, everything is reduced in autistic children because of these changes in the brain. Next, coming to the hypoxia. Hypoxia is also one of the cause of autistic kid. The reason is that the hypoxia can be of two types, environmental hypoxia and fetal hypoxia. I don't get much references for fetal hypoxia, but the maternal hypoxia, that is external hypoxia, environmental hypoxia is caused within the mother. That is, the mother may suffer from chronic disease, eclampsia, pre-eclampsia, or cord around the neck of the baby. And all these are the conditions where the baby will go in for hypoxia. During that condition, again the endocrine axis getting dysfunction. Because of the endocrine axis is dysfunction, what happened? The lack of oxygen to the to the fetus. So Krebs cycle or oxidative cycle is getting disturbed. Krebs cycle takes place in the mitochondria of the cell. Since the mitochondria is damaged, there is a more free radical is released in the blood. So free radical will cause damage to the epigenetic gene process. So epigenetic dysfunction happens over here. When these changes takes place, again the autistic feature, the child is born with autistic feature. Motor skills are disturbed, brain deficiencies occurs, and all these symptoms come. So what is the primary prevention? We can implantation diagnosis can be done. Single cell DNA amplification PCR diagnosis can be done, and karyotyping can be done. Next, folic acid, taking folic acid will reduce the cleft palate, and development of brain is very important. And iodine is taken for criticism in fetus. This all during pregnancy, the mother has to take all these drugs. And secondary prevention, if the first child is born with autism, these are the prevention you can go in for to get a second baby as a normal kid. You can try all these methods. These are talking about the allopathy. As a homeopath, what we can do? First part, what we give is counseling to the patient. Once we see that the pregnancy is positive, we say that counseling for the patient. We should make the women, that is the mother, to understand there is no bond is stronger than the mother and the child bond. So always sit with the kid, talk with the kid, feel and each and every movement of the baby that is happening inside her womb. So that is what is very important, and make her to take rest. Second, in the 20th week, the baby can feel the touch and the sound of the mother. So ask the women to switch off all her social medias and mobile phone, televisions and all. Sit with the baby, have time to talk with the baby when the baby is inside her womb. So in the third trimester, all the sensory developments happens in the baby. So reading the book louder, comics book or religious book, reading all these books, what happens? The baby will start listening to those books. So each and every moment of the baby has to feel sensory development. So prevent autism, each one's of persons are individual. So if I read books, I'll get my tension is relieved. So relieving of tense-free life, you can pamper yourself, take photograph of your growing bellies, all these things, whichever you feel convenient. We'll ask the mother to do all these things to relax herself and free from stress. Good sleep is very much required. Apart from this, in our university, we are conducting second and fourth Saturdays, we having pregnant women. For pregnant women, there is a meeting conducting every month of 2nd and 4 weeks, how to take care of the baby and how to carry over throughout the pregnancy life. So attending all these classes, the mother's tension should be released. So once the mother is relaxed, stress-free, can avoid getting autistic kids. If at all they are tense, then Dr. Vijay's autism is there to treat the baby. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Kalai Anand. Now, before lunch, may I, may I request our keynote speaker, Professor Shunirmal Sarkar, former Professor NIH, Government of India. Thank you. Thank you. He's a very renowned professor, very renowned speaker, very renowned physician also. So we are very much eager to hear him, Professor Shunirmal Sarkar, former Professor NIH, Government of India. Sir.
August audience, my beloved students, welcome from City of Joy, welcome from City of Keynote Prescription. Yeah. Actually, everybody, we are prescriber, good prescriber, definitely. Since morning, I am learning so many things from different speakers. Our ultimate object, how to find the, I am not telling similimum, but most similar medicine at the present moment. I am not telling similimum, but most similar medicine at that present moment. And most probably, that as my first speaker, that ADHD, how hyoscyamus was taken after a pretty long prescription or discussion, and again, that how quickly she is prescribing Nux vomica in case of cancer, totally different approach. Totally different approach, and repertorial approach, so many approaches are there, but most probably, this keynote prescription, ultimately, whatever the way, we are taking only 3, 4, 5, 6 symptoms. That is the keys which unlock the locks. So whatever approach we are doing, ultimately it is keynote. But let us see that how our teachers, especially the Calcutta school, the teachers, how they have prescribed even by observation, without asking any question. At least I have seen several times by Dr. P.C. Pal, Dr. Dubey, Dr. M.M. Datto, even Dr. Mahendra Singh, everybody, how they are prescribing. Just I am giving 1 or 2 examples because it is not time to discuss what is the limitation and scope of keynote prescription. All on a sudden, during my RMOship in Calcutta Homeopathy Medical College, we have seen after child is crying in the baby ward, child is crying, and hallucination, lots of irrelevant talk started during high fever. Dr. Dubey came, he is observing just that irrelevant talk, loquacious. And when sir has entered after half an hour, the child is sleeping and profuse perspiration. Profuse perspiration and child is sleeping within half an hour. Loquacity during rise of temperature followed by sleepiness during perspiration and podophyllum was prescribed. Without asking, not a single question he asked. But that is the keynote of that particular moment, that child is sleeping during perspiration. So this observation is most important to become a successful prescriber. Whether young doctors or junior doctors, most probably we are learning every day. Every day. We have seen another case in our, just after completion of the OPD, teacher is going to see a malaria fever which is not combat through the your quinine. Sir has entered, high rise of temperature, and child has started rigor. Then he vomits. Child vomits. And Dubey is telling very nicely, Beta, dawa de dao, dawa de dao, dawa de dao. Without asking a single question, then we are asking, sir, what medicine we will prescribe? What medicine we should prescribe? Oh, have you not gone through Allen? देखो, second page में क्या लिखा है? Vomiting in between chill and heat, lycopodium was prescribed. So this is the way, if we teach our younger generation, rather if we teach ourselves also, most probably we can minimize our sufferings of taking lots of symptoms from the patient. We know, I will show this case also later on. During rainy weather, patient has come to Dr. Pisipal's OPD and he is suffering from the atopic eczema. Somebody was showing, graphitis was prescribed that way. And just Pisipal, he is just observing, prescribed Alkamada. Nothing he has asked, whatever it is. Nothing. Then actually you know that his personality, I think some of you are the student of the principal also, how arrogant and how one type of another rigid personality. It is very difficult to ask that why you are prescribing this medicine or that medicine. So his assistant, Dr. M.M. Datto, nearly 45 years he was associated with Dr. Pisipal. And then we are asking, sir, why Talkamada? Oh, Sahib, you have not seen this is rainy weather. And excessive mucus secretion, it is a flooding. No flooding, no Dalkamada. No flooding, no Dalkamada. So, by observing that, he prescribed Dalkamada. And like this, just I am giving some examples that how they have minimized this keynote with everything. In our OPD, we have seen that one just very recently married woman. I am telling, yes, guard, I think should not say woman. I think 7 or 8 days ago, he got married, like everything like that. He is suffering from persistent cough. And just to imagine, as it is quite common, that time we are also. Now I am 72, that time I think it was only 28, 20, like that way. So we have taken the case as long as possible. M.M. Datto is just entered. Kon case ache? What are the cases today? Cough. Okay. Oh. Okay, Hyosamas thou. Give Hyosamas 32 doses. My question. Without asking anything, M.M. Datto is prescribing Hyosamas for cough. We are not getting that lying down aggravation. He has not asked lying down aggravation, dry cough, sitting amelioration, this, that, nothing he has asking. Then we asked, sir, why you are prescribing hyoscyamus for this girl? Okay, we will discuss, not in front of her. I will discuss after 7 days only. Lady will come. After 7 days, again, Wednesday, Datta's OPD, and nearly 200, 300 patients are waiting. How are you? Cough, 90% subsided. Better. Then we'll, sir, for what purpose or what reason, what you have observed? That hyoscyamus you have prescribed in this condition? Oh, have you not observed that a married lady, just recently married lady, what she is doing in front of you? Actually, she is wearing the sari, and that sari, sometimes she is drawing, sometimes again he is rejecting, like this. After every 1 minute, dekho beta, unsaturated sex with exhibitionism plus dry cough is equal to hyoscyamus. Simply. Observe it. So, lots of psychology behind prescribing this. I have seen this. The same thing I have observed in one case, Kolkata Homeopathic Medical College. When I was RMO, we have conducted a cesarean section. Just we are making joke and we are prescribing arnica, this and that. Just to prevent the bleeding. All on a sudden, the obstetrician, M. Ghosh, all on a sudden he got a noise. PPIs has started. So, everybody was shocked because we are really in a moody condition that time. So, PPIs means you know that what happens that time, those who have experienced that 1 second means 1 hour because we are plugging through the vagina, it is coming out. We have prescribed arnica, we have prescribed califos, this and that. Every 5 minutes we cannot ignore. Dr. M. Ghosh directly injected the methargine injection directly to the uterus. But it did not make any result, no contraction. That time he is telling, Dr. Shankar, immediately we have to do hysterectomy, immediate, otherwise we cannot save this life. So such a bleeding is coming out like that way. So that time, accidentally or incidentally, Dr. P.C. Pal, he was in IPD. Ki korcho, what is going on? Why you are running? Well, sir, we have to immediately conduct the hysterectomy because that PPH start, we are unable to control with even the animal dose of injection. Chalo, let us go. With him, another Datta and another 3-4 house staff, they are entering to the labor ward. She is lying down only. She just looks for a 1 moment. Come back. Okay, hyoscyamus 30 dao. Hyoscyamus is bleeding. Just he asked, Murari? Yes, sir. Just I took. Nothing was asked. Murari is Datta. Murari? Yes, sir. Hyoscyamus 30 dao. So when he prescribed hyoscyamus, we were also shocked because we know after any labor generally prescribe arnica, Sikeli, this and that, whatever it is. Hyoscyamus. Okay, we give the hyoscyamus 30. You cannot believe doctors because what we are observed in our life, for this reason we believe homeopathy. And as I told Dr. Sarkar that make incidents. Don't try to prove homeopathy is a science. Silence speaks 1,000 times. Don't try to convince an allopathy doctor or even homeopathy doctors because homeopathy doctors rarely believe in homeopathy, with few exceptions. So rather, as he is doing, we are also doing so. So we have observed this type of keynote prescription. Then we asked him, sir, why you are prescribing? Why you have prescribed hyoscyamus for this? Blood is going on, and as soon as we just give 1 or 2 globules of hyoscyamus 30, we got, that is the hourglass, just a jerk. You cannot believe it, but we have seen it. Jerk, and when we are plugging this, now blood flow is gradually it becomes normal. After 5 minutes, we give another dose, that is fine. why not Dr. Hayasaimas? My question. How I will answer? Why not Hayasaimas? MM Datta is telling. We 4, 5, 6 doctors entered at a time and patient is conscious. She and more or less half naked, but she don't try to cover her private parts or the knee. She did not try anything to cover her knee up to this knee. She's like this way. That is nothing but exhibitionism. So doctor, so many cases we can see from our teachers. Let us see that even one to symptoms, how it can be qualified as a totality of the symptom. Just I am showing 1 or 2, 3 cases. Cases after cases we can show. Even as Madam is telling very nicely that at the present moment, what the symptoms are on that gown prescribed in cancer cases, layer after layer, layer after layer. And sorry to say, when in my NI's life, we started a cancer clinic under the director, separation, and we keep 35 cases, more than 5 years, they are in good condition. Symptoms are not relapsing. So for this reason, NIH, they asked extramural funding for the cancer research. And you know what was the result? The Joint Secretary wrote very nicely, homeopathy doctors should not treat cancer because it is unethical. So the scientific research doctor, you know how hurdle it is to convince the authority. For this reason, don't try to do. Rather, keep quiet and do your work. Society will accept homeopathy, not the government. Doctor, this is a case. Yeah. One after another, because I am not accustomed with this, just I am telling. This is a case of rectal prolapse, you can see on the. A girl of, I think, 19 to 20 years old, that girl came to our clinic, and honestly, mother is telling rectal prolapse, this, that, ulcer, because it is very difficult to ask so many questions regarding the girls in private clinic also, no? Mother took the photo, and what the girl is doing in your clinic, that is the most interesting. We are taking the case, all on a sudden, from the chair, he keep his both the legs on the chair, because intolerance of hanging. Just like our Vipera, is it not? So Vipera patient, so all on a sudden, both the leg, then simply we ask, why you are doing this? Sir, if for a moment, for a long time, if I hang my legs, I will feel urgency for the stool. It is no Vipera case. Hanging down leg, urgency for stool, only medicine is Rastox in our materia medica or repertory, whatever it is, and you see that after Rastox prescription, what was the result? Is it not moving? How it is, it aggravates, you can see. It happens. Rastox is one of the neglected medicine in our materia medica. Lot of doctors are there. From my experience, I am telling, a a lady of nearly menopausal age, 45, 6, she complained to me that menstruation or irregular bleeding, I am telling, irregular bleeding during every new moon. Every new moon. And okay, every new moon aggravation, alumina, causticum, calcarea carb, these are the medicines generally we prescribe, and we prescribe in that way. It is not acting. Then only we took the case very nicely. Actually, that lady, he carry that rice bag every day for selling purpose. But one day, she compelled to jump from the opposite side of the train, not in the on the platform side, and he fell down. And after that, it started. So, opposite side, that is the sprain, is sprain, and if we go through Kent's repertory, new moon aggravation, new moon, menorrhagia, metrorrhagia, irregular menstruation, only medicine is Rastrax, not Silicea, not calcarea carb, not causticum. Our next case, why it is not acting? Come. Beta dekho. Hang hoye geche. Otherwise, let me talk from my own. এটা দিয়ে করা যাবে? Now, ঠিক আছে, I think that is better. This one? This one? Okay. ঠিক আছে. Next case, vocal cord nodules with Rastrax. Again, I am telling Rastrax. Reports are there. I am not going into details. The only thing we ask, what happens? That aphonia, soreness, more talk, I feel more better. And one being